Hello and welcome to Mint Canvas Studio. If you struggle with managing your finances and feel like you need a firm grasp on your spending, I have the tutorial for you. I always found it difficult to track my monthly expenses and ended up spending more money than needed without realizing it. If that happens to you and you reach the end of the month wondering where all your money went, wonder no more. I made a tool that will fix the situation. I wanted something that's easy to create and to personalize, something anybody can use. Made with Google Sheets, it is free and customizable. It will work every month of every year, and the best part is that it doesn't require difficult formulas. Even if you know nothing of Google Sheets, you'll be able to recreate it easily. Of course, if you need a more complex tool, we have 3 different budget trackers with dashboards, calendars, and so much more features. The link to purchase them is in the description below. But now, let's go back to this budget tracker. We have our month, which we pick from the calendar that appears if we double-click on the cell. Once we decide on the month, we can start filling our tracker. We have our income table, where we can track our earnings through the month. You can use it for yourself or add your partner's job or even a side hustle. Just write the date, the income description, and the amount. Then you can move on to the next table for all your monthly expenses. Write the date, what the expenses was, and the amount, of course. Super simple. Then I added a column that tracks whether our expense was something necessary or essential, meaning a need, or something extra, non-essential, or a want. This section here is connected to your monthly budgeting, and understanding the difference between needs and wants can make your budgeting more efficient and helps you take control of your finances. I've also added a savings table and a debt table. And that's why this tutorial is customizable. You can skip these 2 tables if you don't need them, and track only your earnings and spending, keeping the formulas to a minimum. Above the tables, I added a summary of your spending. On the left, you can see your total income, total expenses, total savings, and total debt for the month. Since this is a budgeting tracker, it will help you allocate all your money and show how much is left. On the right, you can choose how much of your money should go to each category, whether it's a need, a want, a saving, or a debt. And at the end of the month, you can compare the desired amounts with the actual numbers and adjust your spending accordingly. That's the power of this budgeting strategy. Now, let's jump straight into the tutorial. At the end of the video, I will show you how to replicate the pages to create an annual view of your budget tracker. With every tutorial, I suggest you follow my directions step by step, so that it is easy to fix any mistakes and copy the formulas. And different countries use different formatting, so whenever you input a formula, click on the little question mark and check the guidelines Google Sheets provides. Okay, we start with a blank page and delete the unneeded columns. We click on column S and drag our cursor to the last column. Right-click and select the option Delete columns S to Z. We do the same with the extra rows. Click on row 66 and select all the remaining columns. You can drag the cursor down or use a shortcut by clicking Shift, Ctrl and the down arrow a couple of times. Right-click and select Delete. We can now start creating our tables. Since the income, savings, and debt tables are similar, we make them first. Select cell B11 and merge with cells C11 and D11. In the merge cell, write income. Before we move on, let's give our spreadsheet a cleaner look. Click the little gray square at the top left corner of the spreadsheet. This will select the entire spreadsheet. Pick your favorite font and horizontally align your text in the center. Then vertically align in the middle. Now we can move on to the next step. In cell B13, write date. In cell C13, write income stream. And in cell D13, write amount. I resized column C by right-clicking on it and changing the width to 110. This is optional, but it will look good in the end. Now select cells from B13 to D34 and add a border. Then add a border below income and a border around the first row. Finally, I add one to the last row. In cell B34, write total, then merge cells C34 and D34. We now turn cells B14 up to B33 into a date. To do so, select the interval and go to Data, then Data Validation, click on Add Rule. From the Criteria dropdown, select the option Is Valid Date. Check the box below, and then select Reject the input and click Done. To see if it works properly, double-click on one cell of the interval and a little calendar should appear, allowing you to choose a date. Now pick a date and select the interval again. We want a different format for our date. If you like this one, you can leave it as is, but I prefer a different look. Go to Format, then Number, and now select Custom Date and Time. Here, pick a format for your date. I chose to display the abbreviated month and the day in numeric form. You can pick from different display styles or you can create your own. Once you're satisfied with the look, click Apply and this selection will be applied to the entire range. Moving on, we write some numbers below amount, select the interval from D14 to D33 and go to Format, Number, and then click on Currency. If the currency displayed is not the one you use, click on Custom Currency and select the correct one. Then click Apply. You can also format the number and select your favorite display from an array of different options. What we want now is a sum of all our income streams. To do so, click on cell C34 and write equals sum, open parentheses, and then select the range from D14 to D33. Close parentheses and click Enter. Now I'm going to add some internal borders. I like to pick the dotted line in a light gray color. Let's resize columns A, E, J, N, and R. Select them using Ctrl or Command if you're on a Mac. Right-click and pick the option Resize Columns. Make them smaller. I, for example, picked number 20. Now select columns B, C, and D and copy and paste them into column K. All of our formatting is going to be copied as well. Before we copy and paste again, we need some adjustments. In cell K11, write Savings. In cell L13, write Category. We can now copy and paste columns KLM into column O. Again, we change the title of our table and write Debt. Now we can create our expenses table. This is going to be bigger than the others, so we'll make it from scratch. Merge cells from F11 to I11 and write expenses. And add a border below. In cell B13, write date. In G13, write category. In cell H13, write amount. And in cell I13, write need, wants, or NW for a cleaner look. Then enlarge column G and make it size 115. Put a border around the first row, then put a border around the table. Finally, add a border around the last row. In cell F64, write total, then merge cells from G64 up to I64. In the merged cell, write equals sum, open parentheses, then select the range from H14 to H63, close parentheses, and click Enter. Now, copy the formatting of the cell holding our total from one of the other cells. Let's add the date in the range from F14 to F63, the same way we did before. So go to Data, then Data Validation, Add Rule, pick Is Valid Date from the criteria, and remember to check the box and then reject the input. Click on Done. To copy the formatting of the other dates, you can select it as before and pick from the Format menu or use the Brush tool. Select the cell holding the date and click on the brush. Then pick the first cell of the range we want to apply the formatting to and drag the cursor down till we reach the end of the range. Check that the formatting works. You can also copy the formatting of the first row of the income table and apply to the entire table, like we did for the date. it will also copy the grid lines, but we can fix it later. For the last column, we need a drop-down. Select the range from I14 to I63 and go to Insert, then Drop-down. Here you already have two options. Write Needs and then Wants. I also changed the color to make it pop. Click on Advanced Options and from the display style select Arrow. You can leave the chip, but since it's too easy to delete, I prefer to use the arrow. Click on Done. Now, let's fix the borders. Let's now create the table below the date. In cell B5, write Income. In B6, Expenses. In B7, Savings. And B8 will be Debt. Finally, in B9, write Left to Budget. Now we merge cells C5 and D5 and drag down the formatting till cell C9. The merged cells will hold our totals. In cell C5, write equals C34. In cell C6, we write equals G64. In cell C7, write equals L34. And in cell C8, write equals P34. To see what's left to budget, we simply subtract the expenses, savings, and debt from our income. So in cell C9, write equals C5 minus C6 minus C7 minus C8. Put a border around the table and that's done. Now let's create the table that will show us how to allocate our budget. Merge cells K2 up to Q2 and write allocate your budget or budget breakdown, however you like. Put a border below. We want to compare our goal to the actual spending, so we create two tables. Merge cells K4 up to M4 and write goals and put a border below. From cell K6, we write our categories starting with needs. Below, we write wants, then savings in cell K8, and finally, debt in cell K9. Select cells L6 up to L9 and format them as a percentage. Write down some percentages and then remove the decimals. Now we need to translate the percentage into a number to see how much of our income we should be spending in each category. Starting with the cell M6, write equals our income, so cell C5, multiplied by the cell holding our percentage, L6. The formula is the same for the other cells, but if we drag it down now, it will adapt and move. Since our income will remain in the same cell, we need to fix cell C5 using F4 on our keyboard or manually by adding a $sign before the letter and the number. Now we can drag down the formula to cell M9 and it will always reference cell C5. The formatting should already be in place, but if not, select it from the menu as we did before. Now let's add a border around our table. We now create the actual table to see if we are correctly allocating our income in our monthly budget. Copy the formatting of cell K4 by using the brush tool. Apply to cell O4. Then write actual. Let's do the same with our table below. This time we want to copy the words plus the format. So we copy from cell K6 to cell M9 and paste it into cell O6. This time, we need to turn our percentages and numbers into formulas. To do so, delete all the numbers and percentages in this table. On cell Q6, write equals sum if, open parentheses, select the range holding our needs and wants from I14 to I63, comma, between quotations write needs, comma, select the range holding our amounts, from age 14 to age 63, and close parentheses. Now we need to fix both ranges before copying the formula for our wants. Use F4 on our keyboard or do it manually, making sure that a dollar sign is added to both letters and numbers. Now we copy the formula in the cell below. Select Copy, and then right-click on cell Q7. From the menu, select Past Special Formula Only. The ranges are the same, but this time we want to change the words between quotation marks and write once. Make sure the formatting is the same. For our savings and debt, we don't need a formula. We just want the total amount. So in cell Q8, write equals C7. In cell Q9, write equals C8. If the formatting wasn't copied properly, select the cells and pick the currency as we did before. It's now time to turn these numbers into percentages. Go to cell P6 and write equals Q6/C5. We basically divided the number by our income. Again, we need to fix the income cell by adding a dollar sign before the C and the 5. Before we drag this formula down, we need to wrap it in the if-error formula, since it will give us an error if the income is 0. Go back to the formula and write after the equals, if error, open parenthesis, after C5 add a comma and close parenthesis. By leaving a blank after the comma, we told the formula to do nothing when an error occurs. We now select the 3 cells below and copy this formula like we did before. We right-click and select Past Special Formula Only. Our tables are all done. Go to cell B2 and merge up to cell D3. Let's turn this merged cell into a date. Go to the menu and again go to Data, Data Validation and Add Rule. We repeat the process and now if we double-click on our cell, a calendar will pop up. Pick a date and now we can format it like before. We just want to see the full month and year. So we go to Custom Date and Number and select both of them. Time to add a chart. Select cells from B5 to D8 and go to the Insert and then select Chart. Pick a chart style and a dimension. I chose a bar chart, but you can pick the default or any other style. Decorate the chart as much as you want. This is just a visual help that will show you how much of your income goes in every category. Before we start decorating our finished budget tracker, I want to add another small feature. When budgeting with this method, we always want to finish our month with a 0. It will mean that we have allocated all our money into something. Preferably, the remaining amount should be assigned to a saving fund or go into repaying a debt. If we go below 0, our number will turn red, and if we are above, it will be green, meaning that there is still an amount left for us to budget. To create this feature, go to cell C9 and go to Format, then Conditional Formatting. From the Format Rules dropdown, pick the option Less Than, below write 0. In the formatting style below, pick a display. I usually pick one of the darker shades of red. I make it bold and italic. Instead of clicking Done, let's click Add another rule. And now from the menu, pick Greater than 0. And pick one of the darker greens. Now we can click on Done. Our budget tracker is ready. We can now start decorating the spreadsheet as much as we like. Firstly, let's remove the grid lines by going to View, then Show, and then select Grid Lines. I picked 4 different colors to differentiate our categories. I will use these same color in the chart. I also like to color the cells that hold formulas to avoid deleting them accidentally. And I also like to color the background for a cleaner look. After you have perfected your budget tracker, you can leave this template as your blank original. And you can also fill in the categories that repeat every month, like for example, rent and bills, so you don't have to write them again each month. Once you're satisfied with the result, you can duplicate your budget tracker. To start a new month, change the sheet name below, and then you can fill it as you please. For the new month, you can simply change the date above. Pretty easy, right? If you're interested in supporting our channel or you'd like something more complete with an annual dashboard and multiple bank accounts, Check out the links below. I hope you enjoyed this simple tutorial, and are you ready to budget now? Let us know how it goes and what kind of tutorial you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching and happy planning!